Oh, man.
I can relate to the Hulk. I mean, I've never been in a fight. But the problem is, instead of superhero strength, I have the strength of a 5-year-old.
This is where the white trash part comes.
Can I interest you in some sex?
You banging cars, I'm gonna talk shit about you.
It's 6:30 on a Sunday, and we are live. This is your weekly AA meeting with Arlow and Adam.
Bomb square. Square. I can't even talk.
You said square.
Stuttered.
You just ruined it.
I did. We had a bomb scare here in Tahlequah. Somebody called a bomb scare. See, I did it again. Why can't I say that word? I can't say that word at all.
Yeah. Go ahead and put your fine ass mama back on the phone. You know what your shirt's made out of? Boyfriend material.
That's right, everybody. What's up? Welcome out to the AA meeting. I'm Adam, and with me, as always, is the original silver-tongued devil that takes the game to a whole other level. What is up, Arlow?
Dude, you throw some poetry out there, baby. I like it.
It's what I do, man. And we've got a little bit of a different setup. We are still at my house this week. We're going to throw the camera a little bit different so you can see both of us together as per some feedback, which we also do love to have the feedback from you listeners. Our email is aameeting@gmail.com, or excuse me, aameetingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can call or text to 918-973-0377. And today we're going to get serious. Now, last week we were hardcore serious too. We're going to line it up,
baby.
You bet. We're going to liven it up a little bit. We got some sports to cover. We've also got today's topic, which we're going to be talking about abuse, including rape and bullying. So if you've got any stories about abuse, rape, or bullying, or anything similar to that, or it could be anything at all, send us your stories. You can email those to aameetingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can call 918-973-0377. As always, Arlow is also on Facebook Live on his personal page there, and we are monitoring his chat. So feel free to chime in, anyone listening over there on Arlow's page. You bet. And we're watching those.
I love the feedback. You know what I mean, dog?
And just like everyone else in northeastern Oklahoma, we're both coughing up a lung over here.
Dude, I'm so dying over here.
Oh, man. So if you hear us slobbering around on some cough drops, we apologize.
I'm so dying over here, dude. I walked like a mile in the frigid cold last night.
Oh, man.
We get dropped off. I went to the Cody Johnson concert last night.
How'd that go?
Oh, freaking awesome, dude. I love Cody. He never puts on a bad show.
Right.
But the cool thing was, like, this time I saw, like, how much he's grown as an entertainer.
Yeah.
Because the first time I seen him was 2 years ago. And when I saw him 2 years ago, is at the Electric Cowboy, Fort Smith. Right? And he's just my favorite country singer anyways, right? Yeah. So I was like, man, I'm going to go check this cat out live, you know? And dude, blew me away. I was like, dude, he really sounds like he does on his albums, you know? And you could tell he's really singing it. He's really belting it. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching this, and I was like, the coolest part was it was out on the dance floor. There was a dance floor still there, so I could two-step live, right? Coolest part of the whole thing, dude. And you know me, I love two-stepping.
Right.
And you know me, I can two-step my ass off. So anyways. We get back to the to last night, and now he's at, you know, the Tulsa Expo Pavilion. A little bit bigger venue, you know, not super big, but still holds a couple thousand people in there. And he sold the house out, but like his crowd interaction, you saw grew. Like he would stop the music, people start singing for him, and I'm like, okay, this dude's getting better. Okay, I like it. I like where he's going. Yeah, and you know, I'm a big fan of him, so I hope he goes. Like I've told everybody 2 years ago he's the next big thing in country music, and everybody who was before him kept saying the same thing. I mean, the dude just writes amazing stories in his songs. I mean, they're just. It's unreal. Anyways, concert was just awesome. I mean, it had John Wolfe, William Clark Green before him. That's what I got there. I can't remember who was supposed to be before that, and we got there a little late. But I just really wanted to see Cody and John Wolfe. But anyways, so we end up getting an Uber on the way home, right?
Right.
And you know those old sayings of like when your Uber driver's shady.
Oh no!
And we're like, hey, stop by Quick Trip real quick for us. Okay, left us.
Holy crap.
Yeah, my Uber driver. I was like, how's an Uber driver leave you?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was like, dog, we just paid this cat. I'm gonna go in there and go. And we didn't just pay him because we paid off his card.
Right.
But still, the destination, and I was like, dude, this Uber driver about to get his ass whooped if I ever see him again. We'll be in Tulsa again, dog. I get you again.
And you never saw or heard from him after that.
I'm not going to name drop him because if you ever watch the show, he'll be like, man, I remember them cats. That's the dudes I left at Quick Trip.
You hear that? You just got blast put on 8 different countries. And, we'll get into that.
But the first thing I thought of was that meme that says, when your Uber driver is shady. And I was like, man, I got a shady one indeed. I mean, I knew it was bad when I hop in, and he goes, "What up, cuz?" I was like, "Did you just cuz me?" And I was
what's up, fam?
I was like, I can dig this. Okay, he's cool. We all had a great conversation. Good man. I was like, dog, I thought our Uber driver was over here. He was. I said, man, this dude just. I said, man, we ain't like a mile from your house. We're gonna have to walk because we ain't paying another X amount of dollars just for 1 mile. I said, man, we got to walk a mile in this cold. I got cowboy boots on. My back is knotting up on me, I was like, man.
Arlow's got something for you, Mr. Uber driver.
I got something for him, man. It's going to be a left and a right hook. And my money back. I was like, man, I really wish I'd have paid attention to which driver it was, but I remember what he drove. I remember his face.
Crazy. I was thinking you could.
I'm going to start requesting because I know my boy remembers. As soon as, because my boy was the one that did it, I'm going to be like, dog, who was our driver last time? We're going to make a request. I'm just going to hop in from behind on the driver's seat and be like, what up, cuz?
Yo, you remember that Quick Trip?
Hey, dog, you remember leaving me at Quick Trip? Oh, man, no, I wouldn't do that.
I love Quick Trip, too, but, man, I would not want to be there, left there at the middle of the night, because that's also where, no offense, but that's where all the homeless, and the undesirables, they hang out behind Quick Trip.
Dude, no, 100%, dude, 100%. Me and my buddy one night, we were leaving night trips,
right? And
there's a Quick Trip, literally, it's on every corner in Tulsa. So we drive down to the end of this block. I'm driving to the end of the block by night trips, and there's a Quick Trip. Well, Tulsa floods like crazy anyways. Anybody who lives in Tulsa, grew up in Tulsa, knows when it rains, it just floods like crazy.
Right.
So we stop off. We're about to turn. His truck just dies. The streets were flooded. We were driving through them.
Yeah.
Water kept rolling up underneath his engine. Just flooded the whole thing.
Oh, no.
And we're sitting there, and the biggest dude I've ever seen, biggest ghettoest looking dude I ever seen, jumps out. Comes running across the road out of his car, and I was like, dog, we about to get in some stuff real quick.
Holy crap.
Dude looked like he could bench press a house. Nicest guy I've ever met. He goes, hey man, you fellas need help pushing this off the road? We were like, yes.
yes we do.
And so right when he was about to do that, this big F-250 comes rolling up behind us. Right. And he's like, hey dog, y'all need me to push that off the road? I can just do it with my truck. Pushes, and I was like, yeah, it's really cool, but this is where I'm about to get to your part about the story.
Yeah.
So we pulled around back so we can let it sit for longer, right? Pulling around back of Quick Trip over there on, is it Harvard that Trips is on? Is it Yale?
Sheridan, I thought.
Is it Sheridan?
Sheridan's what we always called Strip Club Row because
because they got all those ones right there on that
strip.
You
got Night Trips, Lady Godivas, and then you had Skankapades up there.
Wasn't Cloud 9 on that too?
No, Cloud 9 is over on Yale.
I'm glad you know all these. Look at you.
Man, I told you this story, man. I used to be in those things 5 days a week.
So we're behind Quick Trip, right? And next thing I know, dude, all these people come climbing over fences and out of nowhere. And I look at it was like The Walking Dead, just start piling out. And I looked at my buddy. I said, dude, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm like,
holy shit.
Come up asking for money, asking for rides, asking to borrow a phone. I said, dude, I said, I'm glad I ain't got the gun on me. I'm about to run everybody off out of here.
Yeah, I said, no joke.
I said, let's go sit inside real quick. I said, because something bad might happen real quick. Yeah. I said, we ain't got to worry about your truck. They ain't taking it nowhere. But, so anyway, so these people just come. One lady had a trash bag on. Literally. That's all. And she was willing to borrow my buddy's phone. She's like, can I borrow your phone? I looked at my mom. I said, dude, I said, I'm not trying to discriminate. I'm really not. I'm not a discriminating man.
Right.
But she only has a trash bag on. Who's she going to call that has a phone?
Crap.
I said, dog, I don't. I said, don't. And what you did, What's up, Doug? I'm gonna slap you next time I see you for mouthing. But yeah, dude. So this, I was like, dude, this is nuts, dude. I don't know what to say or do with these people coming up out of the woodworks. And it's pretty scary. So yeah, 100% agree.
No joke.
But we were on a Brookside,
right?
So we were pretty good. I mean, we were over by Riverside, so we had to worry about too much. And we were a pretty nice housing area when we had to walk a mile, but it was just freezing. It really pissed me off. I remember that Uber driver the rest of my life.
I've got a really good friend. She's been working for Uber and Lyft. And she lives in Broken Arrow.
I love you too, Dougie.
Bartlesville, and she drives down to Tulsa and does that on the weekend. She's making pretty good,
dude,
1 to 200 a night.
Yeah.
And I asked her, I was like, well, because see, I always assume the worst,
of course,
and being a female, you know, that would compound that. And I was like, well, how bad is it? I mean, do you get like really shady types or intimidating people or people trying to talk them trying to run off on you?
Exactly.
She's like, no, I haven't ran into a single case of that yet. But
like the first one that took us was hilarious.
Yeah.
She was like this, like almost 60-year-old woman. And it was like your mom taking you. Yeah. No, like this woman, I swear, either was like super wild when she was younger or she was a saint her whole life. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like we get in there and she's just this sweetest lady I've ever heard talk. Wow. And then when she drops, she's like, well, you boys have fun at your concert. I was like, thanks, Mom. I felt like saying. I was like, oh, I just want to give my Uber driver a hug. You know, she had that vibe to her.
Now, don't forget your coats.
That was it, dude. I was like, don't worry, Mom. Got another Uber driver leaving. You know when I leave. But no, that Uber driver left me. I wish we'd have got Mom whenever she... I was like, dude, these people.
That's awesome. We took an Uber driver one time, and it was when we were in Las Vegas for work. And she was a nice lady, but man, she scared the living crap out of us. But everybody drives like that in Vegas.
Oh, dude, Vegas people.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to touch these.
I was up in the front seat while my coworker was in the back, and I was firm. I think I put new marks on the oh shit bar. And I had one hand on the oh shit bar, the other hand on the dash, and I was just, please don't hit it. Please don't die. Please don't die. Please don't die. It was crazy, but she was really nice. And then a lot of them like to get all the amenities. Like they'll have like one of those plug-in coolers with water, and so they give you water and all of those.
Absolutely, cool absolutely. You know, the only time I've ever taken an Uber is either in Tulsa or when I was at Metallica this summer.
Oh, okay.
And Uber down there pissed me off. Uber down in Texas pisses me off. We're at Texas Stadium, right?
Right.
Watching one of the biggest rock bands ever. And those Uber drivers down there straight up told my boy Dutch, walk up the block and we'll pick you up. I said, we ain't paying that motherfucker to go. My bad. I mean, just drop that right there. I said, we ain't paying this dude for us to go walk to him.
No.
And he's like, okay, calm down. You know how I get.
Yeah.
Like I just got right there. That was real. That was raw. And so the next guy, he calls another one.
Right.
Well, if y'all can walk up the block, I said, give me the phone. Give me the phone. And he's like, no, dude, I got this. I said, give me the phone. I said, I'm about to rip this dude. Finally, I just took the phone out and I was like, look, dog. I said, we ain't paying you to walk.
Right.
We're paying you to come pick us up.
Yeah.
And then he hung up on me. And then we finally called one, man. This dude come all the way, picked us up like right where we wanted. You know what I mean?
Good.
Had water for us. Was super cool. Tipped him like $20. I said, dog, don't change the way you do business.
No joke.
Do not change the way you do business. But yeah, me and Uber don't always get along.
I can imagine. That's insane. Yeah. I can't believe. I've got it. Once a long time ago, I was driving to Tulsa. It may or may not have been going to Cloud9 myself, and I got turned around in Muskogee. Don't ask how I did it. but I ended up off the road up under the bridge because I got turned around and I was like, well, I missed my turn. Well, maybe this road comes back out or something. Next thing I know, I'm like off of the road. And so I'm calling this tow truck company to come out and pick me up. And I was like, well, it's kind of off. And we don't go off in the middle of the night and all of this stuff. So
I mean, I don't blame you in Tulsa, dog. I mean, this ain't like when we go off, and throw ourselves in a ditch, and Robin's Record can come pick us up and they don't care, Right. It's Tulsa, man. I had a buddy who used to deliver pizzas up in Tulsa, right?
Right.
And he started wearing a bulletproof vest because he went into a house and he was like, man, I thought this house looked shady anyways, and it didn't look like anybody was really home. Well, he goes walking and he's looking around, walks up to the door, gets jumped from behind. Dudes take everything, take his money, take the money from his car, the store money,
the till, the mobile till,
takes the store money, takes his money, his personal money, takes his watch, takes the pizza, and run.
Oh my god!
And they hit him in the back of the head with a pistol.
Jeez, people don't realize how dangerous delivery driving is.
Exactly. I was like, dude, that happened delivering pizzas. Like from now on, ever since that happened, I give my delivery guys a hug.
Yeah,
I'm like, come here.
And then they're just hoping it's like, oh god, just whip me with a pistol, okay? I don't want to know what you're about to whip out.
Dude, I give great hugs. I'm great at hugging and smiling. That's my favorite.
Yeah, but a big muscular dude, he answers the door.
I ain't never seen a muscular dude deliver pizzas. I'm not muscular either. I'm just a big dude.
Hey, cuz, give me a hug.
What up, cuz? I'm a member, cuz. You better believe that. Believe that, dog. The cuz don't know. Arlow's about that action, boss. Stupid. Hell, you care. I was having a good time tonight. So anyway, man, let's get to some business. Let's get some business before I keep complaining about Uber.
All right. Well, I got to give one quick shout out. I promised my people I was going to do it. I've been doing ever since. My Rocklahoma campsite. We've got a big show coming up. We've been asked to host at the Blackbird on Pearl. The flyer is going to be popping up for those of you watching on YouTube.
And that's when.
That is going to be December 30th. It's a
Saturday. I may come out there, dude.
Yeah, it's the night before New Year's Eve. It's a masquerade bash. You don't have to dress up, but it makes it more fun if people come in costume.
I'll go even. I don't care if you can't get me VIP. I don't care.
Right.
Even though I love VIP treatment. Like I act like I'm not, but sometimes I'm really a super prima donna sometimes when it comes to VIP treatment,
I'm just excited. I've been asked to go on stage a few times because we're going to do some drawings. There are going to be door prizes there. There's going to be raffle. We've been asked
I hope you do go on stage over there. I'm going to holler something stupid.
You would.
I will.
You so would.
I will, dude. I'm going to mess with you so bad, dog. I'm going to mess with you so bad.
But
you don't even know.
This is going to be on the Blackbird of Tulsa. This is December 30th, New Year's Masquerade Bash, featuring the Grind and Fist of Rage, a couple of great local acts, as well as
Fist of Rage is good, dude.
Yes, they are.
Some of their stuff. Where did I hear it from? I think it was 97.5.
Wow, that's awesome. And Sovereign Dame and Solidify are both going to be out there. So come out and see me. This is put on by my campsite, Camp Mardi Gras, as well as our good friends, the Rocklahoma Bitches. That's their camp name, not description.
Adam's part of that group.
You ass. See, I can't even have a commercial. There goes everyone considering us for sponsors.
My bad.
I did get a call back from a cigar company.
What?
I've got to call them tomorrow morning. Or tomorrow afternoon, excuse me, and see what our options might be.
Dog, you know how much I love cigars. I don't even care if they pay us. They just give us free cigars.
No joke.
You know what I mean?
And that goes for anyone else out there with a business or web service or anything else you might want to do some advertising with us. We just cracked 900 listeners for the last month.
Well, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We've got to think of something special to do for when we hit 1,000.
For the last month?
Yeah.
So the month of November? Mm-hmm. We had 900 listeners?
Well, I might have that twisted. I know we've got almost 900 total, But we have, you're right, yeah, 900 total, and then we've got almost 500 in the last month.
Oh, wow. Well, that's cool. But that's what happens, man. You know, that we're getting bigger and getting to be across countries, you know?
Yeah.
And like I was telling you earlier, man, this Facebook Live is mainly just, is like a lot for my people and local listeners.
Right.
You know, and plus it's fun. I love being on live. I love just talking.
Yeah, no joke. That's why we do this, folks, because we just love the sound of our own voice. And so we love to do it. And what we would appreciate and what we need from you fine folks, if you appreciate our content and you like to listen, I see all you guys downloading, man. I'm like, NSA, dude, I know what you're doing with our stuff. And do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, follow, share, whatever it is on the way you're consuming our content. Please support the show, and if you're so inclined, share it, because sharing is caring, and we really do appreciate it. The bigger we get, the more likely it is to get to our next goal, which we do have the email put in for Spotify, and that's what we want to crack. That is our goal. That's what we're looking.
We get in that, dude. It's lights out.
Right.
We're throwing a party. We're gonna throw an AA meeting party.
Hell yeah!
You know what I mean? If we get on Spotify, I mean that's huge. That's huge.
That's what I'm wanting.
Yeah. So there's a couple things I want to talk about.
Camacho's the name of the cigar. Camacho brand cigars.
What if it's like Hector Macho Camacho? No, it's a boxer from the '80s.
No.
I'm just wondering. I mean, dog. A lot of fighters have their own cigar brand.
Really?
And it's usually some kind of name affiliated with them. James Toney had like Lights Out something.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't know too many Camachos. Well, even from you know, just the Latinos that I know. You know, I don't know any Camachos.
I'm waiting for the punchline. You're so serious.
There was no punchline. That was real, dog. That was me being real, man. You just think I'm always messing with you, because most of the time I am.
I was gonna say that's why I can't tell stories with Arlow, because he's got so many embellishments. But as you were saying, you know, there's
zero embellishments. Only speak the truth.
There's a lot of boxing and combat sports in the news this week.
Dude, there is. You know, first off, there's my boy Tevin Farmer, who I've been watching for years, finally got a title shot last night on HBO. Totally irritated me. Got ripped off. That's when he even said it, man. He was heartbroken. He outboxed the dude. He outlanded the dude. I feel his pain, because sometimes everyone knows how it feels to think you won the fight and you didn't. But I feel his pain because at the same time, in his head, he's still telling himself, damn, I shouldn't have left it to the judges. Guarantee it, in his head, because it went to the judges. And when you go to the judges, it's not in your hands anymore. Hey, what's up, Ethan? Big Bob, what up, brother? And that's what sucks about the sport, when you leave it up to somebody. Yeah, it's not in your hands anymore. It sucks. So anyways, Tevin Farmer should have won, hands down. I'm gonna shoot him a message through the stuff that I follow him on. See if I can't get him on the show. Be kind of cool. I don't know if he'll say anything back. Sometimes they just don't say anything. Sometimes they say yeah. Anyways, the other one that I want to talk about was Lomachenko versus Rigondeaux last night, man. And that fight, man, that was off the. That fight had more hype than pay-per-view fights. Two guys coming in 100. They fight at 130, but they came in at a catchweight at 138. But anyways, Lomachenko did exactly what we thought he was going to do, me and my brother, which was come in and outbox Rigondeaux. That's all he did, man. Too flashy of footwork, too many punches and bunches. Rigondeaux fights kind of like a Floyd Mayweather stance, real defensive and offensive at the same time. More defensive that sets up his offensive. You know what I mean? And I knew if Rigondeaux wasn't going to be, if Rigondeaux didn't make, Lomachenko really uses his angles when he punches. Like he comes from all angles. Like if he lands an angle, he knows he's throwing something. As soon as he lands, he's throwing. Well, I knew that'd give that kind of style a problem, because he has quick feet. I always tell people to beat stuff like that, you gotta have quick feet. Fighters anymore don't emphasize the footwork as much as they do the offense of just throwing hands. But anyways, congratulations, Lomachenko. He made Rigondeaux quit in the 7th round. End of the 6th, he quit. Said he started off, they said he broke his hand. Then it moved down to he broke his wrist. I don't think he really knows I think he really don't know what he broke, because he only threw 15 punches, and I don't think you can. He only landed 15 punches. I'm pretty sure you can't break a hand in 15. I mean, I guess you can, but unless he came in with it broke. But I think it's because he was just getting smoked.
Right.
And said, dog, I'm done. My hands broke.
Well, and this is coming from a guy who broke his hand in the ring. So
before I went in the ring. Let me make that part clear. Yeah, I broke mine before going in.
And that was on a bag, though, too. So, I mean, technically, it could be argued that
it could.
Any just the right angle or just the right whatever. And
if that's the case, then I question the heart.
Yeah.
Because, dog, I'm a nobody that went out there and fought with one hand.
Yeah.
Proudest moment ever, but anyway. And, you know, and I mean, one of these days for story time, I'm going to break that story back out. Because remember the Facebook Live messed up the day I told that story.
Oh, it did. It did.
The other big news is there was 2 people in the past 2 weeks that have talked about fighting Conor McGregor in boxing.
I saw that.
One is Manny Pacquiao. I know why Manny's doing it. Manny's broke.
Yeah.
Manny saw how much the Mayweather fight generated.
Can you see that being a big...
No.
No. I lost interest halfway through you saying
yes.
Just...
I don't see it to even generate a quarter of that kind of money.
Right.
But Conor knows where the money is.
Yeah.
Conor knows where the money is, dog. You know what I mean? And so... the other thing is the other person is Oscar De La Hoya saying he would come at Oscar De La Hoya said he would come out of retirement age 44 years old. I think he's age 44, 42.
And when did he retire again?
Oscar, like 8 years ago. 9.
I was going to say that's a 90s boxer, isn't he?
Yeah.
Late 90s, early 2000s. I remember seeing him on Arliss on HBO.
So De La Hoya is saying he would come out of retirement to fight Conor McGregor. What irritates me about that is Oscar was the one bashing the original fight between Money Mayweather and saying it was a disgrace to boxing. But he saw how much money it generated, and he's like, "Oh, I'm coming out of retirement. Get out of here, dog. Just stay retired. You had your flash, you had your cash, you had your fame. You still got your fame, you know. So, man, just go."
I saw that UFC has a lot of fighters now calling for Conor to drop the belt.
Well, I agree.
I totally agree.
He hasn't fought in I don't know how long. He's been inactive for probably almost a year now in the UFC. Has a lightweight title, but he ain't defending it. And in boxing, if you don't defend it X amount of time, it gets pulled. But again,
and that's rightfully so. I can't imagine sitting there competing, putting I mean, you're on borrowed time. You're in that industry. And you're sitting there wasting away at there's a few boys, I can't remember the name of the fighters, but I mean, they're winning all the fights. They're in prime position for title fights, and they can't fight for the absent title.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's total BS.
You mean tell me you're the number 1 and number 2? What's up, Terry? You mean tell me you're the number 1 and number 2 in a combat sport? I hate saying combat sport because to me it's boxing or MMA. They got labels.
Yeah.
So you mean tell me you're the number 1 and number 2 in UFC lightweight division, but you can't fight for the belt? Because a guy who has it doesn't want to fight right now because he didn't fight Floyd Mayweather and made $100 million.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, dog. But you know, guess what? We got some people who are active, who are about the business. You know what I mean? Not about the money. Just and stuff like that just pisses me off.
Do you think it takes away credibility of UFC?
Not so much credibility as much as I would say it takes away. Not like credibility, but it takes away. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Well,
it does take away the credibility. I was going to try to church it up and be nice about it, but no, it takes away the credibility.
Well, and
only because I box and I always find a way to not bash MMA, but to talk about how I don't like working for companies.
And the reason I come at it like that is because right now there's a lot of questions. I mean, even a congressional investigation into the business practices of, say, the UFC, where there's no set criteria for earning that belt. It's all about money, and it's all about draw, and it's all about everything except what it should be. To me, I see something at almost every type of competition as a tournament bracket type style, or something where each win gets points, so that the person that wins the most fights and is the most successful in their bracket or whatever, they deserve their chance for the belt.
Absolutely.
And once you start losing the fights or you lose that belt or whatever, it should go to the next person with the most wins or the best record, because you have to factor in the wins and losses, right?
Touche.
So that's where I'm at. But
I can say that, man. Like if you out there busting your ass and you're winning, you deserve to get a title shot. And if the dude who got the title don't want to put it up for grabs, well, guess what? Then we need to take that back from him.
I guarantee you, there's a lot of fighters out there right now that are leagues above what's in the UFC, and we'll even say Bellator right now, but they're not getting their fair shake because they don't have that it factor. They don't have a sexy name, or they don't have this attractive whatever that puts draw, but they're still a better fighting. They're winning their fights, but they're just not there.
Absolutely.
Whether it be bad interviews or whatever.
Absolutely. No, 100%, dude. 100%. 100%.
While we're on UFC, did you see the video? I think we shared it to the page where my boy Diego Sanchez.
Oh yeah,
fought.
That's awesome.
For those of you who didn't see it, we'll share it there in the comments here after the show. Diego Sanchez trains at this gym where there's also a young man who with autism who trains, and he is
Down syndrome.
Oh yeah, excuse me, Down syndrome, and he's obsessed with MMA, and so they worked out together. They got to talking and stuff, and he asked him what your dreams are, and he's a man, I just want to fight once in the ring. I want to fight in the ring. And so Diego Sanchez gave him his shot, and so I don't want to say he threw the fight or anything like that to take away from the generosity. I mean, this is a professional level fighter,
100%,
but he gave that young man an opportunity to fight in the ring.
It is so awesome.
And after the fight was over, he held him up on his shoulders and walked him around. Man, it's just, it made that guy's life.
It made that kid's life, dude. That's the coolest thing you can do for people like that. Just random acts of kindness.
Yeah.
They go a long way with me.
Plus, I'm always partial to Diego Sanchez because that's where I got my nickname, my drinking name, because our good buddy PJ down at the Cubby Hole got super lit one night and got under the impression that I resembled at that time in my young skinny days Diego Sanchez, and so it stuck. And so now anytime I'm at the bar, once everyone gets good and drunk, you'll hear somebody scream Sanchez across the bar. It don't happen as much.
They talking about Dirty Sanchez. So.
Shut your mouth.
Oh man. Yeah,
but that's awesome.
I love fight sports, though, man. I can sit there and talk about fighting all night.
Another sports related, it's not fight, but we have to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield got the Heisman. And I didn't think it was going to happen because it was just too perfect. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was leagues above everyone else in stats. I mean, it really wasn't. I mean, it was a close race, but usually when somebody is such a standout, they get robbed.
Touche.
And there was a lot of people, usually it was Sooner fans, obviously, that was concerned that he was going to get robbed, especially with his behavior and his dust-ups that he's had that caused mild controversy, such as the crotch grabbing in the middle of the game and fuck you across the sidelines and planting the flag in Ohio, which I still say that was freaking funny as hell.
I didn't see anything wrong. He really did. He's just being a young man that got over, too much, got caught up in those moments.
And he addressed all of those things in this speech as well. And, he's like, I'm sorry, I don't always act the way I should, but I'm a competitive person and I've also got a sense of humor. So those two go together, you usually get yourself kind of in a tight spot. But
sometimes.
Congratulations, Baker. We would love to Baker, if you ever hear this podcast, we would love to have you on the show. So email me at aameetingpodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear from Baker Mayfield or anyone else.
Yeah, dude, that'd be dope. That'd be dope to get him on here.
Now, I've got a good segue to our topic for the night. We were going to talk about...
Before we do this, I told you I was going to drop a bomb on you.
Oh, okay.
Told you I was going to drop a bomb on you. So you remember the other day, we were discussing movies, and I clowned on you.
Okay.
And I said, I'm not the same guy anymore. I can't just be a dude.
The Notebook.
Yes. I watched it the other morning. I get up on Sunday morning, last Sunday, I got up last Sunday, right? And there's nothing on. 7:15 in the morning, right? And I was like, there's nothing on. And I'm flicking through the satellite channels. And I look, and it's like 7:20, The Notebook. And I busted out laughing, right? And I was like, okay, I get it. I clowned on my boy all week about The Notebook. And I said, here it is, dog. I said, hey, you by yourself.
Yeah.
Just watch it, man. See what it's about.
You know, most guys by themselves, they turn it on to more of the naughty channels, but this guy, he's deep, ladies. He's got a big heart. He's gonna exercise those feels. Did you catch a side of the feels watching the movie?
Dude, it was that's what you want out of love.
Yeah.
In life. Like, I was like,
did it hit home?
It hit home a lot, dude.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this is.
Hey Terry, thanks for tuning in.
I already hollered at.
Oh, did you? I just saw it.
Never mind, goes live right here.
All right, my bad. Go ahead.
So I'm watching this, and I said, "Wow, this is deep, so well written, so well written." But I figured it out as I was watching it.
Sure,
I said, man, that's them. Guarantee it. Yeah. Like, it was like 5 seconds in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I was like, this has got to be the saddest movie ever. But the happiest, saddest movie ever. And I was like, dog, call me a softie, call me whatever you want. That's what everyone is looking for. Everyone can sit here and say, well, I'm just a hopeless romantic. No, I don't care who you are, because if you've had that feeling, you want that feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, wow. See, completely blew me away, the movie did.
Yeah. See, I'm not a big mark for it, but I appreciate a good movie. A good movie's a good movie.
Dude, I was like, why are you such an idiot at times? You know what I mean? That's how I think. Right? You know, I was like, because I've bashed that movie for years.
Without even seeing it.
Without ever seeing it. And I'm a guy that always says you got to, do something before you can judge it. And I was like, nah, man, you got this. You cool. You don't ever do that in your life. And I was like, you know what? Watch it. And I'm like, you do need that in your life. That's what you've been searching for this. Not searching for, but that's what, when things coming to you, that's what you've been going for. You know what I mean?
Folks, if you're out there, man up. Don't let your ego get in it. It's a good movie. Go watch The Notebook.
Right here.
And I'm telling you, it's been confirmed by those listeners who totally agreed. You want to impress a lady? You get a lady in the mood? Take her home, get some wine, pop some popcorn, put it in The Notebook. She's yours.
And I had someone tell me. Yeah. I had someone tell me after I was telling them about the movie.
Yeah.
They said, how did they word that? They were talking about that's the kind of love you want. And I was like, exactly. The kind that doesn't just leave. And I said, 100%. They said, well, that's because it's easy to leave nowadays, which it is. They make it easy to just leave. The world does. And I laughed, and because they told me it was easy to replace, right? Right. And then bashed me because they said, well, you replace them all the time. And I said, I said, no, I don't. Inform me that, yes, I do. Yeah. And I said, no, I don't. Why do you think that? I said, because I never loved them.
It's true.
And they never loved me.
Yeah.
And we both knew it. You know what I mean? King of flings, baby. You know what I mean? And I said, that's how it is, man.
You could, Arlow. You could sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves. I mean, you can talk anybody into anything. Hence your moniker for this week, the Silver-Tongued Devil. So what brought this up, folks, is we were talking a couple of weeks ago. I made a reference to The Notebook because there's that one classic scene, and it cracks me up because it reminds me so much of when you're trying to ask your significant other what they want for dinner. And so at that scene, that big climax scene, he's screaming at her, what do you want? It's not that simple. What do you want? I don't know. What do you want?
One thing I'd give that dude credit for, dude had an iron will.
Yeah.
He stayed not persistent, but he believed in the whole movie. it was meant to be.
Well, when you find that, when you find that you're one, you find that person that you can see yourself spending the rest of your life with, the good and the bad, because
it's not all good.
You know, to be honest with you, folks, there is not one marriage that I know of or long-lasting relationship that's all sunshine and rainbows and butterflies. I mean, you have to learn you have to love the things you hate about that other person as well, because when it's gone, you're going to miss those things that annoyed you. And that sounds so crazy to say, especially if you've never like been in the serious relationships or long-term relationships, but you get so used to the good and the bad that you even miss the bad. Man, I miss them snoring every night, or I miss arguing about dinner, or you know what I'm saying, eating at the same whatever,
getting called out on your bullshit.
Yeah. You know, I've got to say, I've always had a warm spot for females that are that way, that they just call it like it is, and if you're being a dick, they'll call you a dick.
You know, I never understood that. I never understood when you need that. Because if you don't, and she just buys into all your BS, they don't love you. They're just buying into your BS. They're just attached to you. You know what I mean? I think everybody has their, if they look at themselves and they do some self-reflection, they see everybody's got a big personality. Whether they know it or not, even if they don't have a lot of personality, that's their big thing. I mean, I'm the king of puns. I'm a punographer. I mean, I love puns. Punographer. And just like that, it's a play on words. It's usually way more funny. And I found a woman who absolutely, it cracks her up every time. And that was my big thing. And then I'm also a dirty old man in training. And so she appreciates my vulgar and inappropriate sense of humor. I love that, dirty old man in training. That cracks me up every time you say that. That's going to be on our shirt. We need to get a couple shirts. Your shirt. Yeah, we're going to get we do need to get a couple shirts. We need to get one, the Arlow style, which is the AA meeting on the breast, and then on the back, put your fine ass mama on the phone. Put your fine ass mama on the phone. And then on mine, it's going to be AA meeting, and on the back, it's going to be dirty old man in training. Dirty old man in training. Yeah, but don't go swimming in your pool naked. Old pervert Adams back on the prowl. Put old pervert Adams. Better than Buffalo Adam. I got stopped in the middle. I got stopped in the middle of Walmart today, and somebody recognized me from our show. What? But they was asking, but I got a question. I don't understand something. Sure, what's up, man? Why did they call you Buffalo Adam? I was like, oh, damn it, Arlow. Buffalo Richmond, baby. They don't even know. Do you eat a lot of buffalo, or is it because you're Indian? No, it's Silence of the Lambs. That's a racist thing to say, because I'm Indian. He was Indian, so it's okay. Okay, he's skinned. He can say that. He can say that. He better be dark skinned to be saying that. I'm talking darker than me. Well, he knew how to Indian point, so I figured he's at least somewhat blood. So I want to do a little survey while we're here. Okay. People have been telling me a lot. Everybody who's listened, and I don't think I do. People say, Arlow, you sound black, and I said, what does that mean? You know what I mean? I'm like, that's a racist way to say things. It does sound really racist when you say it, but I totally know what you mean. I don't. Well, I just. Yes, Terry. Yes, someone told me that. They said, man, you sound black, and I said, you mean sound black? What's that mean? I got soul, baby. That's what that means. Well, and that's what it is. But here's the thing: if you pick up the phone and somebody's got an accent, you assume that they're of that accent. Okay. I don't think I have an accent though. Okay, so if you pick somebody and it sounds kind of like Donnie Montana, you're going to think he's somewhat Cuban, or has a speech impediment. Maybe that's okay. Hey, screw you, big guy. And all right, Genoma. Or if they call up and it talks like Forrest Gump because you need to go back to Mobile, Alabama, they're going to think he's a hillbilly, right? Well, the same goes for like natives, and it's funny. Don't act like it's not. So when some natives are around, natives,
Man, they get.
I know, and I talk like this.
It's funny because my wife will occasionally go to Nebraska to see all of her to the reservation up there because she's Ho-Chunk, and so she comes back, and you can tell
she got the native twang
because everything comes. I know, huh? Wait,
she got that skin twang after that
because they kind of get this talk, you know, and
they got that pause when they talk.
Yeah, well, it's that kind of a raise, you know what I'm saying, and the same goes. I don't want to say. We'll say,
Tony, what's that even mean? Sound like you from Briggs.
men and female of soul, of a certain African background. They listen to a lot of R&B. They listen to a lot of, not all of them, but this is a stereotype, I know. But you're around people of that similar culture. You start to develop kind of a lot of isms and a lot of slang.
Soul, that's all it is. I don't even know what it means.
You got a deep voice.
Okay.
I wouldn't call you have a lot of the same. Can't even. Folks, help me out there. I know I'm kind of deep in the dig. Getting deep.
Keep going, dog.
It's just your delivery, the way you have a bit of a flow when you speak.
Okay.
And you got a lot of swagger, and so that comes out as sometimes a man of soul because you have a lot of confidence.
Okay.
And so, if I didn't know you and you picked up the phone, I might make that same association.
Really?
Yeah.
That is interesting. I never thought I did, man. But then everybody keep telling me, man, you sound black on the phone. I was like, oh, you sound black on your show. And I was like, what are you talking about? I just sound like Arlow. That's what I think.
We've got somebody commented in here. It says, I can hear it when I talk to mom on the phone, but now she says she can't understand me because I've been living here too damn long.
That's my cousin Terry. Yeah. She lived down in Louisiana, so I imagine you be getting that real strong.
So
Cajun.
That Creole.
Yeah. My boy Jay, that's her husband. My boy Jay, when I first met him, you can understand a word he said.
Sound like a farmer, whatever, from Waterboy.
No, he wasn't that bad, dude. He has soul. He got soul with it. His is real smooth. I mean, it's real smooth when he talked, but I was like, what in the world? What is he saying?
Dude, I want to go to...
I bet it's even worse now that he's back home.
I wanted to go to New Orleans so bad. I want to go out there and meet the Cajun folks. I really love them. And I got to give a big shout out to my favorite Cajuns in town at Linney Bros restaurant here in town. If you want authentic Cajun food, you need to go up to Linney Bros. Tell them Adam sent you. And because they are awesome. Good food.
They played the clip where we gave the Ozark Hillbillies. They played the clip where we gave them the shout out at their banquet for winning championship. They played that part for them.
Our part or the ESPN part?
Well, I imagine both, but I just felt big that we got a part in it. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, cool. That's awesome.
I'm glad we weren't cussing over that part.
Oh God, yeah. I kept my tongue, dog, because I knew what we were. The possibility.
Oh my gosh! Look at this effing pass.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, he did say no. I was like, stop. But anyway, so they replayed our part. We were giving them props, right?
Yeah.
And everyone in that building thought I was black, and I'm like, I don't look. Don't get me wrong. I got some Jerry curl coming out from the back. I got that NWA, Eazy-E popping out from underneath my hat, but that's just my hair. That's just my
You just
hair.
listen to Bruno Mars a lot, okay? That explains the hat and the hair.
I'm like, okay, I do got the Eazy-E from NWA popping with the hair pop, with the fro popping out from underneath the hat. I got it. And they were like, well, he sounds black. He's got the hair. I was like, what? It's Newsom. I was like, I got told that after it got played. I was like, nah, it's cool. They're like, yeah, then guess what? I was like, oh, really? I was like, interesting. Nah, I don't take it offensive.
No, it's cool, man. It's a badge of honor, really, when you think about it.
It's just, I was like,
that's just me. Yeah, that's just you.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, I decided to share that part after we did the notebook segment because I heard that part and I was like, man, I gotta ask this question. I'm gonna ask this question on air. So many people want to ask, and so many people answer that one.
I've actually been asked that a lot. I've been, or not a lot, but a couple of times.
What do you mean?
For folks as I'm out networking and stuff, and I'm introducing them to the podcast, and they're like, I don't want to sound racist. And, you can always tell when something racist is about to come out.
About to get said. You about to get racist if you say, I don't want to sound racist.
But, I listened to a couple of episodes on your show, and then I checked you out on YouTube. Where's the black guy? I thought Arlow was black. I was like, well, he's got soul.
Nah, baby, he just got soul. That's what it is.
It's not a degree of blood. It's a way of life, man.
Man, you ain't lying, dog.
That's awesome. That is so funny that came up.
Dude, I just had to bring that up today. Man, we're just having fun.
Yeah.
Man, let's get into some topics that we were talking about, man.
Well, you were talking about one of our boys from OU who was under a rape investigation. And I can't think of his name right now, but he just passed his polygraph. So that kind of, I'm sorry, that I was going to, my segue's totally ruined. I spaced, but yeah, tonight, go ahead, go back to ignore it. Like I didn't say nothing. Sorry.
That wasn't what I was talking about.
Oh, okay. My bad.
I was like, when did you pull that up? So I was a little lost. No, man, I've been watching a lot of people post a lot of things lately on social media.
Oh, okay.
To Instagram, to Twitter, to Facebook. Mm-hmm. And the first one was a friend of mine. She posted this thing about abuse. More like spousal abuse, whatever you want to call it, significant other abuse, however you want to call it. Domestic abuse.
There you go.
And it was this thing about this. It was like a poem of a girl, and it was about her getting beaten. She said he's sorry because he bought her this. Does it again. He must be sorry because he did this. And it goes all the way down to, where eventually it kills her. Right.
Wow.
And it had to be a poem that someone wrote who went through that.
Right.
And I absolutely want to. We're on the 3 topics tonight that absolutely pisses me off in life. You want to piss me off? Do one of these 3. You almost want to die, and I don't mean that. Yeah, I do. But and the thing that makes me most mad about this is when they do that to a spouse, and it's 99% the guy and the girl, 99%. Right. I hate the way it just breaks down those people.
Yeah.
Either after that, either they put a wall up so high you never get around it, or they're so different they're not the same person, or they just become super submissive.
It's just so, it affects every bit of your person.
Every bit.
And I've got a lot of people that I know. I'm not going to call anyone out, but I've got a lot of people I know that continually get stuck into those vicious cycles to where they end up with this person that abuses them, and then they won't leave. And that's really, there's a lot of people that have never been through this, and they just, well, if they hit you, why don't you just freaking leave? Or if they they cuss you out and they treat you like crap, why don't you just leave? And you're right. I agree with you. It sounds super easy to us.
Super easy because we never went through it.
But we're not in that. We're not invested like that. They might have kids with them. They might have a lot of debt. They might have a lot of financial stuff. They may have
just
nothing.
Invested in them. When you invest your heart in them, you just don't walk away.
Especially if they've been together for a long time before that stuff surfaces.
Yeah. I mean, and you invest your heart in them, you don't just walk away.
Right.
And that's the part that just that's the part that sucks about that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you get someone who invested so much heart into them, they get caught up with that narcissist that just, oh, let me do this to you, but I'm gonna buy this and make it okay. Oh, I get to do this to you, but it's okay because I do this. You know what I mean? Oh,
he didn't mean it. He does me. He loves me. He's just, I shouldn't have pushed him. I know his buttons. I shouldn't have pushed his buttons. And that self blame that really infuriates me.
Yeah.
And not at them because I don't think they're intentionally thinking that way. It's just that they've been beaten, as you said, beaten into submission so many times that
and made to believe it was their fault.
Right. He's been manipulating them so much. Brainwashing. It is brainwashing.
It really is.
Especially if they don't get out in time. And I'm a firm believer that just about every relationship, once it becomes verbally abusive, that is a very close and shallow or steep hill.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's a slippery slope to the next step is going to be verbally or physically abusive. And if that goes long enough, eventually it will. I mean, it's going to result in somebody dying, whether she finally has enough and stabs the dude or shoots the dude, or he finally has enough and beats her and loses his temper and doesn't stop in time. And like you said, I mean, we've had this story on one of the past podcasts. I don't remember any fights in my history, but you want to see me come unglued, hit somebody I care about, or you know what I'm saying? If some dude hits one of my female friends or something, I will go blind rage. I do not have any patience or understanding for it. I don't care if she hits you first.
Absolutely. No, dude. Trust me, dude. I've been hit by the toughest punches than anybody. If she hits me, I probably deserved it. Because I mean, that's just the kind of guy I am. I know my mouth. I know I push buttons. Yeah. But at the end of the day, man, just when the guys that do that, it's just I hate tough guys that do that.
Well, especially if there's a big weight difference. We'll say weight.
It don't matter.
Well, I mean, the greater, the more it pisses me off, is what I mean.
It pisses me off in general. It's gonna piss me off.
Yeah.
It's gonna. This is what I tell everybody, man. Whenever I go to bust some fool's head, if you man enough to start it, trust me, I'll be man enough to finish it.
Right.
Because a pit bull don't care if it's a chihuahua.
Yeah. Folks, if you are in an abusive relationship, get out. It sucks, and I know it's not going to be easy. I know it's going to be downright soul and life crushing, but at least you will still have that life if you get out early.
And, you know, the worst part I hate is the next day. They're so manipulated. The next day, no matter what, they're back with them.
Oh yeah.
And the hardest thing is to get someone like that to understand you don't need it. That's not love. That's the hardest part.
Yeah. Baby, I'm so sorry. You know I love you. You know I love you. I'd never hurt you.
Hey, let me buy you this. I'll buy you that. Yeah. I mean, that's just I hate narcissists, dude.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, 99% of everybody's been a little bit to that point, but you're not, so you catch it.
Yeah.
Yourself.
I don't
mean the abuser side. I mean kind of a little narcissistic playing a mind game, but you know.
Yeah, and it does. There's a lot of different types of abuse out there, and go ahead.
Exactly. You know, to me, being emotional abuse is just as important or just as bad as the physical. Because when you beat them down emotionally, dude, that's just like I said. You just totally rewired that person.
You know, this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but passive aggressiveness can even be abusive in the long term.
Yep.
If you sit there and you nag your significant other 24/7 and nothing they do is right, or you've always got something to criticize about, that's also a form of abuse, because you are emotionally whittling away that person's soul till they're a shadow of themselves.
Totally agree, Terry.
And so, I mean, it really does go on all levels. And I hate to see people that been together for so long and they just don't treat each other with 100% mutual respect. When you're truly in love with somebody, you should treat them better than you would treat yourself.
Absolutely.
I mean, you owe it to that person you're with, because that's the whole point of marriage, is to make somebody else happy, because you love them so much that you want to treat them like a king or queen.
You know, I've looked at it as I wouldn't want to see anybody treat them that way.
Yeah.
So that goes double for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Again, it's a lot easier for us to say. Now, folks, if you've been in an abusive relationship, any kind of abusive, Excuse me.
Feel free to call in.
Call or text in.
You can stay anonymous. You ain't got to let us know who you are.
Our phone number is 918-973-0377, or you can shoot us an email, aameetingpodcast@gmail.com. All names will be changed, or you can remain anonymous, or you can tell your story and share it out there. But I really do. Oh, we got a chat. We need to check that out. Oh, just somebody poking in. Hi, Rachel Ozzy Jarvis, if you're still out there. Welcome to the chat. But folks, yeah, I mean, it's just, if somebody doesn't make you feel like a better person, you don't need to be with them.
Absolutely. Or if they don't make you a better person. Right.
And if you feel trapped in your relationship or your marriage, get out.
Yep.
And it, like I said, it's going to suck, but you're better off for it.
I really wish we could get someone to call in to explain how they got out of it.
Yeah.
Because that would come in super handy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That would come in really...
Add some credibility to it.
Exactly.
And it's not just two guys that's never been in that situation.
Or done that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I believe that it's one of those things that if you did it to... Track records don't lie.
Right.
You can tell me what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Actions. Your actions still. I don't always believe people's words, and I don't always believe their actions, but I will believe their patterns.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, like I said, the actions is the abuse.
Mm-hmm.
The words is the I'm sorry, and the other action is the apology. But look at the previous. Guarantee it was to every girl he's been with.
Somebody in our comments just wrote, any man who puts his hands on a woman is I'm just going to change it to punk ass B, but I totally agree.
Absolutely.
You are a coward if you would maliciously do anything to harm your significant. If you can't control your temper, you don't need to be in a relationship, period.
And that abuse doesn't just go for spouses.
Yeah.
You can also abuse a kid.
A
child.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing, man, because that kid's growing up thinking everything's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
this is normal.
You know, if it's one of those abusive relationships where he's even seeing dad beat mom, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some of these kids will act out based on that home life of getting abuse. You know, they'll go take that abuse, and I'm not giving, kids who act out and lash out and mess with people or do things, I'm not giving that kid an excuse.
Yeah.
But there may be a reasoning behind the mischief.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that just assume, oh, that person's evil. They're just a monster. They're just evil. That they're just an asshole. More often than not, there's a rhyme and a reason for everything.
Absolutely.
It's very rare that someone is just sadistic and that's evil. Just their personality. But it happens. I've seen it personally.
And but the thing is there's different levels of that.
Yeah.
There's different levels to, what I mean by, like, some people may be super sweet at heart to their kids, to their spouse, but they're just lying to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's just so many different levels, and it's a complex part on that.
Yeah.
That way we need like 3 shows to do.
Yeah, we do.
The other thing, man, that I saw on the airways was the topic you've been talking about for a while. And what I mean by that is the topic of all the Hollywood rape charges.
Yeah.
And the guy from that 70s show that did the ranch, what was his name?
Danny Masterson.
I saw a clip of a quote that I don't know if it's accusations or what that he said.
Right.
But the quote, what? Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to shed a little background on there just real quick. Danny Masterson, that 70s show, he played Hyde. He's been accused by a couple of people, more specifically his ex-girlfriend, of rape.
And so he says, well, it's not rape if it's your girlfriend, is what the quote is on him.
Ugh.
And you don't know how bad that pisses me off when I read that.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's even worse because that girl trusted you with everything.
Right. Now, I don't want to defend him, but I would like to see the full article, see if it was out of context. But
I can't picture that being out of context.
I can't either.
I can't picture that being out of context.
Yeah.
But to
benefit of the doubt. Just like Kevin Spacey, I really enjoyed. I mean, he was a big part of my TV viewing. I mean, I've got so many quotes from that 70s show.
Exactly. But to say that in that way, that it's not rape, if it's your girlfriend.
No.
It's just as bad no matter what.
Well,
I find it a little worse when you do it to your significant other, based on the fact that there's even more trust that they put in you,
right,
for you to do that.
Oh, 100%. I mean, when you're in a relationship and you give someone your heart, you make yourself vulnerable to them. You trust them with everything. You let all of your guards down. You invite them into your home. If you've had kids with the previous, you invite them around your kids or have kids with them. I mean, you completely open yourself to that other person, especially if it's a serious relationship. So I would disagree. You can rape. I mean, if you rape your significant other, that's beyond rape. That's to a whole other level. I mean, that's.
Hey, we just got a post here. Hang on. My boy, one of our fans here, viewers, Jesse Gritz, said, "Real talk, brother. All your mission, bro, is an effective escape plan. If one exists, I hope someone interacts here who's lived this and got out. Because, like you said, the next day, manipulation is real and seemingly impossible for some to escape without knowledge of the real possibility." Exactly.
100%.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate that insight, Jesse. Appreciate the interaction.
What his comments to me read is he's not sorry and he doesn't think he did anything wrong.
He's just keeping you.
Now, I've heard, and it's a thing. Some marriage couples, this sounds so bad when I say it. It's kind of nicknamed sleep assault. Your significant other, and then you just kind of fool around with them while they're asleep or whatever. Some couples, that's not. I wouldn't consider that rape, and if they know the next day and it's not a big deal or whatever. But that's a conversation that you guys got to have. But it's a different story if you're having to drug your significant other, or if you're taking it against their will,
not consciously acting.
I
don't care.
I
don't care. It like what you just said about sleep assault. Sorry, you wake up and he's on top. That's assault. That's what it is. What it is. I'm not gonna church it up.
Right.
It's probably a really black and white area. Or a gray area, I should say. Probably more of a gray area. That's my personal take on it.
But that also, that totally depends on the dynamics of that relationship too. I'm sorry to take it down a different rabbit hole, but that's just something. I've heard people talk, I woke him up this way, or I woke her up this way, and it was all fine and dandy. So, that's a dynamic there. But my point was, no means no. Yep. And any indication that it's not appreciated or that it's not okay, that's when it stops. And anything past that point, you're a scumbag, and it's rape.
I absolutely hate that quote by him. Like I said, it just pisses me off. Pisses me smooth off, actually. And I just tend to think every time I hear that, I'm just like I don't even know. As much as I like the show, I don't even know if I'm gonna watch the new season.
I haven't. They're still airing it.
Oh yeah, they're still gonna put. He's done.
Yeah,
but he's gonna be part of this one and part of the next one, and then he's gonna be all of this one, and then part of the one after.
Well, that 70s show is still in syndication, and the reason that kind of shocks me is because, let's say Netflix with Kevin Spacey, they pulled everything off of him. And they've canceled all of his company. They pulled all of that, everything that has anything with his name attached to it. They pulled it.
What irritates me is because, part of it's also because he wasn't the main focal point of the show.
Danny wasn't?
No.
Yeah.
And that's probably part of it. And because that show won so many awards. Like it won X amount of being on, X amount being on the Netflix and X amount for this, downloaded something. So it won, it won some stuff.
Yeah.
But I hate the way he worded that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, for him to do that anyways to his significant other, like I said before, it goes double for you, man.
That's just throwing gasoline on the fire, really. I mean, it's bad enough you're burning down a house and all of your friends are in it, and then you're just, I'm going to throw a little bit of gasoline in here and just fan the flames a little bit. But I have heard that, and not to justify it, but he is from the Church of Scientology, and
I mean, shit to me.
Well, where that comes relevant is there's several other people that's been accused of sexual assault that's also from that same church, and that church tends to back the accused, back the person who assaults, and they have a fund that they pay these people hush money, as it were. And so,
you know what that tells me? That's more like a cult.
Well, and there's a lot of people who got out of it. I can't remember who was the mom from. Did you ever watch that show King of Queens? What's that lady's name?
I don't know, but I can hear the voice and recognize it.
She was in it, and she got out, and she's done several documentaries and stuff where the Church of Scientology and how they are towards that.
You know what really pisses me off too about that subject with him, and with this whole topic?
What's that?
When you talk to girls, and 95% of them says yes, they have.
Yeah, and that's a big thing on social media, is that Me Too type thing. Yeah,
every one of them, 95%, will say yes, they have to. Probably out of that 95 percentile, which would make that 95 percentile, Leah Ramney. That was the lady from King of Queens.
Leah Ramini. Yeah,
I have no idea. I can't pronounce that shit. But,
you're all right.
And out of that 95 percentile, which would make that 100%, in my opinion, would and out of that 95 percent, I'll admit it. I guarantee the other 3% is just not admitting it, and another 1% is probably not considering what happened to him, sexual assault.
Right. Well, he just grabbed my ass. I mean, it wasn't a big thing.
Well, no, that he probably. I'm not even just going there. I'm going deeper than that. Oh, okay. Penetration didn't happen, so that means it was.
Oh, okay.
And then another one. I'm not talking about just groping. Fuck that. Grope, I'll kill you still too. But yeah, and then 1% probably didn't happen.
Yeah.
But at that 95% that does admit that was, I'd almost guarantee, half of that 100%, half of that 95 percentile, which would be like 47.5, would probably admit that it happened more than once.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of people that's shamed and embarrassed of it. They don't want to be associated with it because there's some circles. It strips them
of their pride.
Yeah.
It strips them of their pride. It strips them of their dignity. It strips them of everything that made them a person. And what pisses me off the most is the person who did it to him doesn't even either the person just doesn't care.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's not a big deal because the fucker does it all the time.
Yeah.
Or he just don't. They don't care, period, or else they wouldn't fucking do it. But it irritates me to know that people are out there that did that, because what gets me is, like I said, they don't care, and they besides the fact that they don't care, they don't know how bad that just destroyed that person.
I've got a couple of good friends that have been raped, and they've either told me some of the story or they've told me the whole story. In time, most rape victims will become more comfortable with it and speak out about it, even though they don't go publicly and, well, I was raped on this date by so-and-so and all of this. But the general consensus from all those people is you just wake up that next morning just beyond violated, just you feel so dirty and
probably confused, scared, lost,
just every negative emotion you can imagine. And especially for those religious folks who then feel, especially if they were a virgin or something prior, because then they feel that guilt on their part. And because now especially if they're religious and they feel like, you know, they're saving themselves for marriage or whatever, and then they've been raped. Several of the couple of the people I've spoken with, they felt a shame on even a religious level, because now their question was, how am I going to find a husband now that's going to respect me?
You know, I go on record this every time. This is why I say, you know, I've never slept with a drunk girl.
Right.
People's like, oh, you worked at a bar. I don't care. Never slept with a drunk girl. Never had sex with a drunk girl. Not a one. Not a one. Based on the fact of the, you know, the incompetence it makes their opinions.
Right.
You know what I mean? The ineptitude of their decision making.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not that guy. I'm never gonna be that guy, because even then they're like, oh well, I was drunk, and they justified that by saying they were drunk.
I wish. This sounds so bad. I wish I could say that, but it wasn't with like one night stands or like, you know, people I didn't know or anything like.
You just deliberately took and got them shit faced. Right. Would do that.
That was, you know, if it was, let's say hypothetically, in my party days, whenever I was out and if I met a beautiful woman and she was drunk or whatever and she wanted to mess around, you know, if she's drunk, I don't F. And I stuck to that rule, and and for so many reasons, like we've outlined, because I wouldn't want to wake up that next day, wake up to somebody crying because they regretted something they did.
Exactly.
Now, again, in my party days, you know,
when they look over and see you.
Well, she's cried when she's seen me before.
Good Lord, I did it sober.
Right?
Gotta break a little humor out of that.
Oh yeah. And
just get pissed off and go.
Right.
We'll just go find someone.
Yeah. Now I have had a few flings, you know, with friends, and we both, you know, but we knew each other. We kind of knew what was going to happen anyway.
And there's a difference between that girl that you fling with, and she knows if y'all go get y'all have a few drinks, she's gonna, you know, it's gonna loosen each other up. There's nothing wrong with that. There's not even nothing wrong with her wanting to let that little bit of more freaky side out. So she throws a few back just to relax on herself.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing wrong with that part either. What I'm talking about is taking the girl out, her having no intentions of sleeping with you, but you get her so shit faced that you're sitting there 2 hours later, dragging her into her house,
Bill Cosby,
or your house, and then taking her clothes off, and then engaging in sexual contact with her. I don't care if she's plastered and you're still touching her. Yeah, that's inappropriate. That's assaulting her still. You know what I mean? And it's just anything. Because like I said, they do not know, nor do they probably care what they just did to that person's psyche. Yeah.
Well, it just goes back to, if you don't have express permission, then it's not okay.
Like I say, it just destroys anything from that point on. It don't destroy anything from that point on. I won't go there. Yeah. But it makes a lot of things difficult from that point on.
I think we're both in agreement. Another thing we wanted to cover,
big time,
is bullying. And
the reason I wanted to say bullying, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
There's this Keaton Strong that's going on right now, and I watched it, and we're going to put the video on our Facebook page, maybe even on this thread if anybody wants to look at it later too. We'll put it on both. But this kid, Keaton, I don't remember the last name to him, but you can look it up, Keaton Strong on Facebook, and I guarantee it's somewhere in there. You can find it. But this poor kid seems like a really sweet kid. Goes out, and he tells his mom, film me, after she picks him up. She picks him up from school. This little kid, she goes, so the mom asks him a question, well, what happened today? And he says, I got bullied. And I'm like, okay. I'm watching this video. And then he gets all sad. Of course, who wouldn't? He starts crying. And he said they would hit him. She goes, what happened at lunch? He said they threw milk. They poured milk on him. Then he said something about them putting their hands on him, probably shoving him and just messing with him just to be, you know, little assholes. And I'm like, and this poor kid's in there crying. And he said, I mean, it breaks my heart, dude. It's gonna break y'all's heart when we post this on these things. He says, why can't everybody just be nice? Don't let it change you. Still be nice. And I'm like, oh my God, this kid is so much stronger than he knows.
Yeah.
This kid is so much more braver than he knows. You know, and it just, besides the fact that it's just heartbreaking, but then he says, it's funny because it's not funny, but he says a good statement in there for me that I said, yeah, they do, kid. And I'm watching this thing answering. I don't even know this dude, but I'm just answering when he's talking. And he said something really cool. He said they suck. They suck really hard. I said, yeah, they do, buddy. Yeah, they do. And he said, I don't know why they, you know, and I'm sitting there, I wish I could just talk to this kid, man. I really do.
Just reach out and give him a hug, man.
Exactly, dude. Like, dude, it's going to get better. You just got to get through that. And that's what he even says, you know, that I'm sure you'll get better, you know. And I'm like, this kid is, and it's all over social media in the last week. But he says that about, you know, why can't they just be nice? And I'm like, because somewhere along the lines, somewhere along those lines, man, misery loves company. And those kids just want to bring people down to that level, because tormenting someone is going to make them feel some kind of little bit of pleasure, because they've been somewhere deep down, they hate themselves.
Yeah.
They can act like they don't. They can flash and cash like they don't. Somewhere down there, they don't like who they are because they got to belittle someone else to make themselves feel bigger and prouder. I'd love to just go walk the halls with this kid.
Did it have, has there been follow up? Like, is he
the coolest thing is, dude, is the outreach he got from social media. He's gotten, because it's gotten so many shares across the United States and the world on this. Dude, he's gotten Instagram shout outs from Snoop Dogg. All kinds of UFC fighters are hitting him up saying, hey, dude, you know,
we'll train you. Yeah.
Well, no, just saying be strong. I got messed with too when I was a kid, you know, and I'm this. He's got different fighters across the world saying things for him. The coolest part was, man, I think he's in Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah. And he has the Tennessee Volunteers, which that's where they're at, Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah. The Tennessee Volunteers football team said, hey, man, you got friends on the team that want to come hang out with you at school.
That's awesome.
And I said, dude, that is Tennessee Volunteers officially became my...
I never heard of that team until recently, till this story.
That's college. They officially became my favorite college football team. Yeah. Just based on that. Yeah. And I was like, man, he's got so many celebrities giving him shout outs, you know, world-class fighters giving him shout outs, world-class athletes like the Tennessee Volunteers that are gonna, you know, want to hook up with this kid and, you know, and talk to him. But the thing is what they don't realize, what nobody's saying, and I think everyone's probably realized this, but I don't know if anybody said it. There's something special about that kid. Yeah. And what I mean by that is, look how many people he's brought together. Right. And look how much awareness he brought on his topic, on his life. And that's what I'd love to tell that kid. Kid, you're special.
His story reminds me a lot of the Jamie Lee Osmond, I think, the kid from Sixth Sense, his movie Pay It Forward, he did with Kevin Spacey. Exactly. Yeah. We're kind of running out of time, but these bullying stories always hit so hard for me. And I don't want to take away from his story, but I've mentioned on here that I was bullied a lot as a kid. And for about 4 years in grade school, there was a group of 4 to 5 guys, and I'm not going to name them on here because they're decent guys now. But you cannot, unless you've actually had it. Now, I didn't have it happen to me at the relentless, just total immersive that a lot of these people have, and you see so many youth killing themselves right now, adolescents killing this 10-year-old. There's a story of a 10-year-old girl recently. I think it was in Missouri or whatever. She killed herself.
I have a close friend, and her daughter. They're not in Oklahoma, but her daughter is very young. Like, I might say maybe middle school ish. Had a friend who committed suicide because she was getting bullied.
Yeah. You know, I've never, I don't want to say I've never had those thoughts, because I had those thoughts a few times when I was in those, you know, fourth, or I don't want to say, probably 4th to 6th grade was when I got it at the absolute worst. And you feel so helpless because if you tell your parents are going to do what parents are supposed to do.
See, I never really got bullied.
Oh, I did, man.
Because I could always throw and always had confidence in myself to throw.
I was such a small kid. I was such a small kid. I didn't know how to defend myself.
I mean, everyone at one point gets messed with.
Yeah.
But then you have that fight or flight method. And I realized at some point I have that dog in me.
Right.
And that's when the tables turn.
The problem with bullies is they pick the kids that can't fight back.
Yep.
Or at least they think they can.
Yep.
They pick the guys they're just going to sit there and take it. And that was me. I just stood there and took it. I mean, one day I told my mom, and she did what a parent was supposed to do. She went to the school. They pulled the kids out, and they called their parents and stuff, and it did, in fact, make it worse.
Exactly, because they think it's funny. Now they think it's funny because you went and told. They think you're weaker because you had to get an adult.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Everybody who's 5 listeners listen. Everybody who's listening right now that's left out there listening, or people who's going to play this back and listen to this whole segment all over again, anybody that's going to play this segment first and hear it just fresh. Right now, share this segment. If you got a kid out there getting bullied, if you know of a kid getting bullied, contact me through the AA meeting page. As for Arlow, I've trained professional fighters most of my life. I've learned how to fight the streets most of my life. If a kid needs some discipline to get, not everybody has that dog in them, but at some point in life you're gonna have to defend yourself. So at that point, if they need some kind of self-defense, I've boxed for over 10 years in my life. I know how to train people. I know how to teach people, and it'll just be a good confidence builder for that kid. Y'all got them out, and I will charge you nothing. I will charge you nothing, and absolutely nothing. It's all 100% free. I'll find a place that we can go to. This is what my gym's gonna be, half of it. But bring those. You know, trust me. I'm not weird. I'm not crazy. I got probably the biggest heart you'll ever find. I'll do whatever I got to do for them, man, to get these people a little bit more confidence. I keep them from, just to let them know it's going to get better and we can help it get better.
To add to that, parents, I'm not saying you can't watch your kids 24/7.
No, can't be there and protect them 24/7.
But there's signs. Okay, now when your kid starts becoming a recluse, he don't want to go out, he doesn't want to go to his friends, or he starts having behavior reports or incidents reports. They do. Schools have gotten so much better at reporting this stuff and watching this stuff, but you can't count on the schools to raise your kids. You can't count on the schools to mold your kid to be a good person morally. And like I said, man, this hits so hard for me. Because it impacted a lot of my life and adolescence. And Arlo, you knew me in high school. I didn't talk to nobody. And
you ain't the same guy you were.
That's, even in junior high, I could not go to a public, like a school function, without being surrounded by 3 to 6 guys who just wanted to fight. And this is the mindset of a bully. You get a kid.
Yeah, we are, Russell.
And where I was at, I was submitting, and they're wanting to fight. I was like, what does it prove? I'm telling you now, you win. You can beat me. I'm not going to sit here and get the shit kicked out of me just so you can feel better. You win. I submit. You're the bigger guy.
See, I'm the guy that would get his ass kicked to prove the point, to show I arrived.
And for that, I got spit in the face. I got drinks thrown on me. One of their favorite things was to drop down behind me and push me over the guy, or throw me up against a truck or a locker or whatever. And it makes you not trust people. It makes you start to question anybody that starts showing that bravado and that level of confidence or whatever, you start to perceive them as a threat, and it puts you in a victim mode to where you don't know who you can trust. And that's why you see a lot of these kids start to wear a lot of black and go emo or whatever and start listening. If they start isolating themselves,
absolutely, Jesse Grits.
Folks, step in. Now, I'm not saying you can't like that music, but when they start feeling that level of hopelessness, because that bullying, I'm trying not to well up, because I will go on.
Dude, you watch that video, you're going to well up. I welled up, I don't know how many times thinking right now, but keep going. You good, man. You well up, dog.
And we're going over time a little bit.
That's all right. We go over time.
I didn't think I was ever going to get away from it. I didn't date in high school purposely because these guys had rumors about me, and I didn't have rumors as bad as everyone else. And that's what I kept telling myself. Well, so-and-so's got it worse. So-and-so's got it worse. And then they started getting girls in on it. And those girls started jumping on those rumors. And so you're just like, man, this world is shit. I can't even date somebody because then they're going to start spreading lies and everybody's going to believe their shit. And then you can't have friends because you don't know because you see your friends hanging out with this guy. Oh man, are they in on it too? What the hell, And words cannot express how debilitating bullying can be. And people like to say that, well, bullying's not that big of a deal. It gives you character and it develops a spine and it toughens you up.
Some kids don't have, I'm not going to say spine, but they don't have that person to help them get that dog out that they have in them.
And I never did.
Because whether it be, and there's so many single moms in the world, and I'm not going to say a woman can't raise a man because my mama raised me.
Yeah.
That's how come I understand a lot. But there's certain things that I couldn't talk to my mom about, like when I first started getting messed with. And my brother, I love him to death. God bless him, but he wasn't in no state to help me in those days.
Right.
So when I lecture someone about getting bullied, I lecture how I overcame my bully. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if I got to bust you in the mouth, I'm going to bust you in the mouth, because then I didn't hear it until later in my life when Mike Tyson said everybody's got to play until they get busted in the mouth. And that's the truth. But that's a different, that's a whole nother can of worms. My boy Jesse Grist just said bullying is along the lines of abuse. Y'all were just discussing it's mind raping. As you said earlier, it can rewire a person's life. Exactly. They don't even know the mental breakdown they're doing on these poor kids. Like what they did to you, what you were talking about, shutting down, thinking everything is against you, scared to open up and be a person. And you know what? Like I said, dude, I'd love to just give this kid a hug and be like, look, man, it's going to get better. Look, man, there's something special in you, because look how much you brought the world together on this issue just by you being brave enough to say, I'm going to put it. I want my mom to record me. I want to make my own little confessional video and have her broadcast it. And I also, it's funny, not funny, but it's pretty cool, ironic that I sent his mom a message on Facebook. And I told her, I said,
we'd love to have him on show.
I said, you don't know me. I said, you don't know me. I said, but I just want to tell you that your son is one of the bravest people I've ever heard of or heard talk. And I said, what he has, I said, the world's missing.
Just to kind of bring it all full circle, because I got personal, I have to give a shout out to my parents, because I was fortunate. And I like I said, I dealt with bullying, I'd say from age 10 till I was 17 is when it finally stopped. If I didn't have such a healthy home life and I had that escape,
it would have destroyed you.
I wouldn't be here today, just to be honest with you, because I had thought about it up at that point. And I haven't even told my mom this at this point. I think she kind of knew. We had never talked about it. But it's so important for you parents to be with your kids, because your home is their escape. And if they can't escape from that, and then they come home and they have abusive relationship, mom's getting hit by dad, or mom is bullying dad, it happens, those kids, they have nothing. And it is so easy for them to take the easy road out. And mom, dad, if you're listening or you hear this, I owe my life to you guys, because I would have never made it out of high school had I not had that home life. But we digress. Folks, keep an eye. I think that's my sign off on that topic. Is parents, keep an eye on your kids. Watch for personality shifts. Watch for disciplinary stuff. Be there for them. Talk to them. Invite them. Have open dialogue. Make sure they know they can talk to you about anything. And whenever they start getting emotional about stuff, even if it pisses you off and you're disgusted with their behavior, they feel like they can trust in you. So, hear them out, because if you don't, they're going to take it out on somebody else or themselves. So, bullying, if you ever hear anyone tell you that bullying is just a way of life, slap them in the face for me, because it ruins lives. And fortunately, I've always had a sense of humor, so I could get myself out of it. But now with social media, that stuff, they can't escape it, and kids do not know when to stop. And hoping that they're just going to get bored and leave it alone, it doesn't happen, because we as human beings have a pack mentality.
Absolutely.
And the dogs, there's not lone wolves, but the whole pack comes in. But anyway, we are winding down on time. Do we have anything else we wanted to get out?
Good, dog. Ready for this final word,
folks. This is a more of a lighthearted.
Come on, I'm lit today.
We are more of a lighthearted podcast. The last two's been kind of serious, and we will get back to that, folks. But as I was saying, for me, I'm Adam, and we appreciate you guys. If you enjoy our podcast and our content, please like, subscribe, and share, follow, all of that good stuff. We need those numbers. If you have a business or something you want advertisement, give us a shout out, aameetingpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to have sponsors so we can improve our show. But as we do at this point of every show, I'm going to turn it over to my man Arlow for some words to live by.
Tonight we really hit home with a lot of people, because everyone's been bullied in their life. I sit here and I tell everybody, come talk to me. I will teach. I will help a kid learn how to just not fight. It gives them confidence. I teach them how to box. That's all I did. I was a boxer. I taught fighters. I taught boxers. I've taught MMA fighters how to do their stand-up more. A lot of these people that listen to the show probably I've either worked with or trained with at some point. So, I sit here and I tell you, hit me up on the AA meeting page. I don't care. I ain't scared. Someone don't like me, you can say what you want. Share this. Everyone who watched this, rewatch this. Someone who knew is going to watch this, share this episode. Share this Facebook Live, because it may hit somebody. It may hit someone that needs this. If you don't want to shoot the message on the AA page, give me a personal call, personal text, 918-284-6994. Again, that number is 918-284-6994. Just ask for Arlow, unless I know you, and then just still introduce yourself. Tell me what's going on. Like I said, I'll teach them for free. There's going to be no strings, no money attached to it, and that's what I'm about to get to. The things that we do in life, people need to realize no money has to be attached to it. No money doesn't have to be attached to it. Because in life, it's about learning to work from the inside out. The problem that we have in life is we work from the outside. Most people work from the outside in, and that's the ego side of it. That's the ego side of life. I surround myself with the things I like, and I'm working from the outside in, because all those things, those great things that I make, that I buy, whatever is what's trying to fuel me, is what I think fuels me, and it never did. And it took me 35 years to learn a lot of this. Give me a sec. So in life, when you work from the inside out, you understand your why, you understand your how, your what, and your who. Your why you're doing it, how you're going to do it, what you're doing it for, your who you love that you're doing it for. The people that the who's is the people that you love, that you want to fight to keep in your life. Remember that. Life is short, live passionately. Life doesn't stop, and neither do we. Keep living strong, keep training strong. Most importantly, baby, keep loving strong. AA meeting. Till next week. Out.